Hey y'all, happy Sunday fun day. I thought I would go ahead and record this little message while I'm sitting here waiting on my cousin to come. I've had this for about a week or so. In my phone, I get messages and now I just start to if I'm not gonna put it out like right away, I'll just start putting notes in my phone. And so that's what this is. I'm not going into a word or whatever as far as scripture or anything else. It's just a little short message that came to me. But I'm titling it, Stop Sitting on Your Miracles. I'm probably going to go out of order of my notes. That's just me. That's just how I do things. But I am going to be reading from what I have in my notes. But yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. So basically, I titled it Stop Sitting on Your Miracles only because, you know, a lot of people sit on their testimonies. And God, that's not what you're supposed to do. God wants you to testify because the goal is to bring more souls to him. He wants all the souls. He wants all the souls. So if you're sitting on something that God has done for you, you're taking a chance on somebody not hearing your story for one, and that's also a soul that could be saved just by you telling your testimony. You ain't got to be no preacher. You ain't got to be no prophet or all that just to bring a soul to God. Somebody can easily hear your testimony and that make them turn to God, and they turn over their life to God of how he helped you, how he turned your triumphs into a testimony. So you remember that the next time that you sit down on something that God has done for you. Because we're supposed to talk. We're supposed to speak our testimonies. Like a lot of people don't be wanting to say, stuff that God has blessed them with or whatever, and you done been through it. You done been through a storm and everything, and you don't want to tell what the Lord has done for you. Man, do you know there's blessings that come out of you telling your miracle, telling your testimony? So stop sitting on your miracles. Stop sitting on your testimonies. Listen, that could be a book. Your testimony can be a book that can bless you. You put it out there, and then that's money coming in. It could be a #1 seller. So you got to start thinking outside the box when it comes to your testimonies. Whether it's just something simple that you can verbally speak, or it's something that you can put in a book, something you could turn into a little ministry. You can do a YouTube channel on how the Lord has blessed you. Inspiration. Like there's a lot of people out here looking for inspiration. There's sometimes some people ain't gonna hear nothing about God unless it come from you. So you gotta learn. First of all, go to God with it. Go to God with it. Ask him if he wants you to what it is he wants you to share. Everything ain't shareable. I understand that. Everything is not shareable. And then everything that people are sharing is not them bragging. Let's put that out there. It's all about how you tell your story. So some of us, I'm about to start going by my notes. That was just off the top of my head. Some of us, we are who we are. We're going through what we're going through because Jesus wants to perform a miracle. And he just waiting on you to turn to him. Turn to him so he can do it. So he can get that testimony out of you. So you can then turn around and tell the people who might be a non-believer or who might be going through the same thing that you're going through and don't think there's hope for them. But your testimony will give them hope. If he did it for you, he can do it for them. So think about that when you're holding on, you're sitting on to your testimony. For myself, I understand I once was blind, but now I see. Because now, like, I prayed to God to see with my spiritual eyes. I prayed to him for me to be able to do that, to see with my spiritual eyes. And when I tell y'all, I promise y'all, When I look at certain people, when I look at people, they don't even look the same to me no more. They don't even look the same to me no more. Like when you look at stuff with your spiritual eyes and you ask God to start showing you things, like even people that has evil spirits in them, you can actually see the demon in their eyes. It is, I promise y'all, it's the truth. And it's scary. But at the same time, it's mind blowing. Like when God opens up your spiritual eyes, you start seeing stuff like that you've been overlooking. Like stuff from your past that you visualize you seen, it start like the puzzle pieces just start coming out. Like even like when you're trying to let's see, how could I put this? Like if somebody has done something to you and then you asking God to open up your spiritual eyes or reveal the unrevealed, and stuff just start coming back to you. Them thoughts and stuff just start coming back to you. You know them thoughts are coming back to you because God was showing you at the time that that person wasn't no good, or that person was doing stuff behind your back. But because you see the good in everything, or you overlook it, and then when you ask God to allow you to see with your spiritual eyes, that stuff come back because it's something you should have took note to. It's something that you should have held on to and like realize like, hey, this person ain't for me. I mean, like the pieces start coming together. Like that's even with him, like giving you puzzle pieces of your life, of something that he has that's going to happen for you in the future, or something like that, he's a vision that he's giving you. It might come in a dream, it might come in an actual vision. A vision is a dream, that but you're woke while you're seeing the vision. I've had several just like signs and wonders. Like he gives, if you just turn to God and ask him for those things, he will give it to you. He will show you. He will show you. Like you might be asking him to reveal the unrevealed for some particular person, but I will say that you need to prepare yourself for it to come, for other things to start showing up about other people that you would least expect. Because that's what happened to me. I was so shocked and I was so hurt. But the truth came out and I can't do nothing because you gotta, when you ask God, you gotta prepare yourself for the answer. And it might be somebody that you would least expect to do something to you, or God will reveal everything. And this is not even on the topic, but that just came. Stuff hit me like that. Sitting on your miracle. So yeah, I guess you can't put that with sitting on your miracles, because that is a miracle. God exposing people in your life, and it's helping you rid people that don't belong in your life or that can't go with you in another level. That is a testimony. That's a testimony, because God is helping you transform into that person that he's called you to be. And sometimes when you transform, you're transforming and you're elevating. And when you're elevating, it's some people that has to stay, that they can't go with you on that higher level. There's certain people that was not meant for you anyway, and God, he's not gonna bless you with when you're still trying to hold on to them. So it's a lot of people missing out on their miracles too, because they're holding on to something that ain't even of God. That's not even supposed to be in their life. Like that's not sometimes it's family members you have to cut off, y'all. Because all blood ain't good blood. Even though they your family, you better be careful, because it's some family members that you would least expect. That people, when people are jealous of you, it's some family members and your family member that might be jealous of you, that's doing some really evil things behind your back. So when you ask God to reveal the unrevealed, be prepared for that too to come out. I'm telling y'all this because I've seen it for my own eyes. So it's truth behind it all. Be mindful. That's why I tell my mama, be mindful of your environment. Start watching. And this is the time and the place to be doing that. Now, because of the way the world is, to make sure that you're looking, being mindful, keeping your eyes open, but asking God to open up your spiritual eyes so that you can see what it is that he wants you to see. And for him to reveal the unrevealed. Because when he start revealing the unrevealed, y'all are going to be so shocked. Y'all are going to be so shocked that y'all been sitting here riding for people that ain't even got your back. That's jealous. That might be jealous of you. Don't want you to have your true happiness. Got you out here settling for the mediocre. Because they don't want you to get what God has for you. So they're persuading you to stay with this or go this way and try to turn you against something else that's actually meant for you. That's actually going to help you get the glory from God. That get your true blessings. Because there's destiny helpers out here, y'all. But how he going to give you a destiny helper if you listening to the Jezebel spirits, or you trying to hang on to the counterfeit spirits, or you trying to listen to the negative spirits, the ones that's trying to persuade you to don't fool with that person. It's all about yourself and how you portray somebody. Tell God to allow you to see people the way that he see people. You can't go off of what somebody else said because they might have an issue with them. They might be jealous of that person and don't want you to have no dealings with them because they see something in you and that person's friendship, or they see something in you and that person that's going to develop, that's going to take y'all higher and keep them in the state that they're in. There's a lot of people out here that don't want you. They are for you until you start going above them. So when you open your eyes and you realize that and God starts showing you stuff, you're going to be looking at people like, oh my God, what in the world? Like, man, I promise y'all, I ain't even finna, I'm, and y'all know I'm on my spiritual journey. I ain't calling nobody out. I'm not. But I do look at people. When I see people, they just don't look the same no more to me. They just don't. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's just me seeing with my spiritual eyes. But, hey, that's a miracle in itself. Because all I did was ask God. I turned to God and I asked him for all of this, to open my eyes so that I could see. Because I want what God has for me. If God ain't in it, I don't want it. If God ain't in the marriage, I don't want it. If God ain't in the home, I don't want it. If God ain't in the job, I don't want it. If God ain't in the ministry, I don't want to do it. If God ain't in whatever it is that somebody's trying to get me to do, I don't want it. Because the way it's going to elevate and go the way it's supposed to go is with the head honcho in charge, and that's God. So I ain't starting nothing unless God go before me and tell me that's what I'm supposed to do. Because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. And I ain't got no more time to waste. I'm 42 years old. I ain't got no more time to waste. I ain't settling. I ain't settling with no man. I ain't giving nobody no time of day if it ain't God telling me to do it. I forgive everybody that's done brought hurt upon me or that's talked down on my name or anything. I forgive them all. Because I know who I am in God's eyes. And I know, what it is that he has called me to do. And I'm seeing everybody the way that he sees them. And the only way to elevate is if you forgive. Yeah, I won't forget, but I will forgive. And it will just help me to move, the way that God wants me to move. As long as I'm forgiving, how can God forgive me if I don't forgive people? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's part of a miracle. I am a miracle. I'm a walking miracle because man, let's just say I am a walking miracle. The change in my life, like the change that he has placed in my life, and the way that I see things now, and I'm more observant and I'm more like aware of everything that's happening. And the things, yeah, sometimes it makes me impatient sometimes, but that's why I go to God and pray for those patience and that courage and that strength to keep on, because his word is true. He's a promising keeping God. He's a covenant keeping God. So his words are true. And his promises and everything that he's promised you, you're going to get it. So you have to sit and you have to wait. And let me tell you how God knows his daughter, me. How he knows me so well. Because y'all know I will be petty in a minute. You come for me, I'm going to come back. But how about the Lord done told me, don't do it. Don't be petty. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. He got it. Let him handle it. Because you know what? He can handle it a whole lot better than me. So while the people that's out here trying to get me to react, waiting on a reaction from me, you ain't going to get it. Because I listen to my Father above. So whether you think you got the last laugh or not, I just sit and wait and watch him work. I don't got no reason to be petty, because I know what the Lord has promised me. And that's a testimony that he's going to get all the glory for, all the honor and the praise for. And let's just say that's what he wants. So that pettiness and all that stuff, that's going to block my blessings. So I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for it. But you go right ahead. Go right ahead. Continue to be petty. Continue to be petty. So, okay, I have put like the difference between bragging about possessions and talking about a miracle performed by God is the humbleness behind it. When God performs a miracle in your life, tell it. Don't sit on it. He needs you to share the gospel and how he performs miracles to help bring souls to him. I've said that, okay? When you humble yourself before God, that spirit will show through you in the way that you carry yourself. Then when people start getting in their feelings about what God blessed you with, tell them to take that up with God, because that's where it came from. So when you're humble and you're speaking on the things that God has blessed you with, that's not bragging. And to the people who thinks that's bragging, take a look at yourself, because you're in your feelings, boo. That's not bragging at all. That's the Holy Spirit blessing them, and they're humble enough to share what the Lord has done for them. Because there's a lot of people out here believing things for that, believing God for things, and they need to hear stuff like that. So they're not bragging. So it's all about the approach and how you come off. So when you're seeing somebody talk about things that they've been blessed with, you got to look at yourself as well. Check yourself, check your feelings to make sure you just not in your feelings when you seeing it. And like I had said before, everyone isn't called to be a pastor, but we all have a call to do his will. While he is blessing you, you should in turn want to be a good steward and share what the Lord has done for you. Your testimony could save a person's life, and that's so true. It is so true. You have like people out here, they got more faith in Billie Jean, and that's just a name, than they do God. And Billie Jean out here doing you wrong. That's part of asking God to open up your spiritual eyes so you can see. You know what I'm saying? Because God will show you what Billie Jean doing behind your back. So you putting more trust in the people out here doing you wrong, and that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. Out here putting trust in people that's out here behind my back doing me wrong. When I should have had my trust all in the Lord. But it won't happen no more. It won't happen no more. Then after you find out what Billie Jean done did to you, you go to the Lord. Make that make sense? Just go to the Lord first. Have to feel faith in the Lord, and not man. It just makes total sense, don't it? Because you're going to end up going to the Lord anyway after he done hurt you, after Billie Jean done hurt you, or Sarah Jean done hurt you. You're going to end up going to the Lord. You're going to cry to the Lord like, why? Well, you should have had your faith in the Lord in the beginning. How many times is it going to take for you to realize who you got to go back to? Before, how many times is it going to take for people to keep doing you wrong before you realize who's the head honcho in charge? God is the only one that's guaranteed to have your back. The only one that's trustworthy. You can't put nothing past nobody. I have learned that and seen that for myself. Like, you cannot put nothing past nobody. It don't matter if they're your blood, because there's more people out here that's blood relatives doing witchcraft and all this mess and stuff, trying to bring family members down because they jealous. Just as it is of regular people out here doing the mess. It's more people out here in the church doing that witchcraft. Y'all just don't know. It's more people out here in the church doing it than you think. So be careful, because the main ones up there in the church doing this and doing that, talking about how good the Lord is in the church, out here behind closed doors treating their family members like crap. Doing this and doing that behind closed doors. Dipping in witchcraft. I've researched. I've listened. Let me tell you something. You want to know something? Go to Google and YouTube. It's so much out there on YouTube. Y'all, YouTube changed my life for the better. It's some good ones and it's some bad ones. But that's where you got to ask God for spiritual discernment, so that you'll know which one's telling you the truth and which one is just out there for the money. So once you go to God and you ask him, for that spiritual discernment, and also ask him for godly wisdom, revelation, all of that. You need all of that. Ask him for it daily, because you want to know what's going on around you and behind your back. You need to know. It ain't worth, you out here sacrificing and making sacrifices for people, and they out here stabbing you in your back. All good big circles got a square in it somewhere. Got a foe in it somewhere. So that's why it's best to ask God to reveal to you who the people are that are for you. And you stick with those people and you're going to go far. That's why I said in a previous post, everybody that's attached to me, I'm going to do everything in my power to help you get to where you want to go, if you allow me to. Because I want to see us all do good. I want to see us all elevate. I'm that person that's going to root you on, that's gonna that's gonna be there clapping when you do something good in life. Like, I don't have a problem giving anybody their props, because I know where I'm going. I know what God has for me. I know what he wants me to do. So that's what I'm working towards. And the more you praise other people for when they become successful, the better you are at becoming successful. Because when you down in people and you talking bad on, people, that's not going to get you nowhere. That's going to leave you looking crazy. Y'all, this lip gloss, oh my God. But anyways, it's just going to leave you looking crazy. So that's why I always like to build people up. I like to give people their props when it's due, like motivate people to keep going, because I know, all these years I've been struggling with low self-esteem and stuff like that. So Now that my life has changed for the better, like and even when I was going through that low self-esteem and stuff, I was still that person that would motivate people and clap and be happy and just try to be there for people. Like if they having something, or I would try my best to be there. Because being envious of others is a sin. And that's something I don't ever want to partake in. I'm happy for everybody. So, again, I say stop sitting on your miracles, because you never know what might help somebody turn to God. Even if you don't believe, that person might be, your miracle might make them believe. And you might have sent a soul to God, even if you don't believe. So look at that. Start thinking out the box. I wish y'all a happy Sunday, and God bless you all.